To book a private reading, email me at tarakite@hotmail.com. Thanks. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and thanks for tuning in. This week's tarot reading is for October the 24th to the 30th. And I first want to wish everybody a happy Halloween. Alright, and I also want to mention that the Sun enters the sign of Scorpio on October the 22nd. And we're having a new moon in the sign of Scorpio on October the 30th. And I just love new moons. You know, new moons are the perfect time to really, set your intentions on what you want to manifest in your life. It's the perfect time to really think about it. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to do? It's time to really think about what it is that you really want. And then a few days after a new moon, it's the perfect time to, really to start taking action on that, So pay attention to any ideas that you get at this time. And, if you feel guided to make certain changes or to do something, do it. Listen to your intuition. And, I love this sign of Scorpio. It's a very deep sign, very intuitive, deep. The sign of Scorpio doesn't like anything superficial, it's a very real sign. And I feel like we're getting really real this week with ourselves, I feel like there's this, down-to-earth approach, and we're seeing the truth, and we're like, yeah, this really doesn't make me happy, and I want to make some changes, like, for example, maybe you're not happy with your career, I just feel like we're like, yeah, I don't want to put up with that anymore, and, we're being, very real, we're seeing the truth, and, you may, during this new moon, it may be a good time to really brainstorm and see, what else you could do, and maybe after the new moon, it'd be a good time to, send some job applications to a different job, or just, try to take action to, try to take steps to, fulfill your dreams, maybe you want to own your own business, it'd be a good time to really look into that. But yeah, I just feel like, we're seeing the truth, we're being very real, and it's a very intuitive time as well, and so really pay attention to your intuition this month. Alright, and I also saw, before I pulled the cards, I saw an image of a blue heron, and the blue heron is a symbol of transitions, and so I feel like the blue heron is coming in as a spirit guide to really help us with, transitions. I just feel like change is, in store for us, and, I just feel like we're in the transition phase, maybe, for example, you're not happy with where you live, and you want to move somewhere else. I feel like you're going to be in the process of, moving, I just feel like we're in the transition phase here. Alright, and for the main focus, we got the Two of Cups and this Warrior card. Alright, and the Two of Cups, this card can indicate, feeling very connected with others, meeting, maybe some of you are meeting somebody you feel very connected with, and, this could be romantic, but it could not be as well. This could just be friendships, or just, feeling more connected with family, it's like seeing eye to eye, just, this card is all about, support, an equal, give and take, it's like someone else is scratching your back, you're scratching their back, yeah, it's like this equal exchange of energy. I feel like there's a lot of inspiration from others as well. Some of you are, feeling inspired by somebody. Maybe maybe you're good at music and you know another musician, and, maybe you're feeling inspired by them. or somebody's feeling inspired by you, but I just feel like there's a lot of inspiration, and, you know, and also people working together, you know, working as a team to do, you know, this could be like maybe helping the community, working in a team, you know, helping some charity. I just feel like there is like healing energy around this as well. So yeah, maybe there's, you know, more than one person helping, you know, maybe you and, you know, some other people. I just feel like there's this feeling of feeling like you're part of a team. Maybe you guys are, you know, all have the same goal, you know, you're wanting to help a certain charity. But yeah, this is just an example. I just feel like there is this feeling of people coming together. With this warrior card, I feel like, you know, some of you are wanting to stand up for what's right and what you believe in. And, you know, maybe if you care about a certain charity, you know, you're trying to get other people on board, you know, other people to help. And also I feel like there's this protective energy as well. So some of you may be, you know, maybe you're being protective, towards somebody you care about, you know, really standing up for them, or just, you know, being really there for them. Alright, and for the beginning of the week, we got the World. The middle of the week, we got the Knight of Pentacles. And for the end of the week, we got the Ten of Pentacles. Alright, and with the World card, I just feel like there's this sense of accomplishment this week, you know, I just feel like there is this feeling of, you know, finishing some things up, you know, maybe getting some errands done that you've been wanting to get done, but I feel like we're accomplishing something, and it wasn't an easy task, you know, we're getting through some lessons, you know, this card represents a planet Saturn. You know, we're getting through some lessons, and there's a sense of achievement and accomplishment for us this beginning of the week, you know, and I just feel like you have gained so much wisdom, and you should be proud of yourself. You know, I just feel like we have been coming up with creative solutions, and, you know, I just feel like there's just this feeling of accomplishing something that wasn't easy to accomplish. Alright, and, well, and this card can also indicate travel as well, but yeah, and it can also indicate, you know, it's like finishing things, yeah, I just feel like there's this new chapter in store for us. Alright, and with the Knight of Pentacles, I feel like, you know, we're taking a grounded approach to things. I feel like we're really grounded, and we have really good manifesting skills this week. So really go after your goals this week, you know, and I feel like, you know, ask the universe for what you want this week, because I feel like we have really good, powerful, you know, manifesting skills this week. Because look, you know, we got the Ten of Pentacles at the end of the week as well, and so, you know, I just feel like there is this, you know, sense of abundance and support. For us. You know, it just seems like there's good news in regards to finances this week for us. I feel like it is important to ask others for help if you need help, because I feel like you'll be surprised at, you know, how much help there really is around you. So yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to others. The Knight of Pentacles is somebody who does a good job with things. You know, they don't cut any corners, they do a good job, and so, you know, if this is something creative, or just, you know, following your dreams, you know, with whatever you're working on, you know, I feel like your hard work here is going to pay off, you know. You're going to reap some reward for, you know, being patient, doing a good job on something. And yeah, and with the Ten of Pentacles, you know, this is all about, you know, security, you know, feeling secure, you know, feeling supported, you know, abundance. You know, and this could be with family as well. You know, maybe you feel there's a family member, you know, that's really been very helpful towards you. Alright, well, have a wonderful week, everybody. Much love and many blessings to you all. And I also wanted to remind everybody that I'm offering a sale on my readings. I'm offering a discount And this is for the month of October only. And you still have a week to get a reading. Alright. Yeah, just make sure you book a reading before October 31st or on October 31st and you'll get a discounted price. Alright. And you can check my About page for my rates. And right now I have them at a discounted price. Alright, well now I'm going to pull a card for the signs. Alright, and for the fire signs, you got the Two of Pentacles and this High Priestess of Air card. Alright, with the Two of Pentacles, you know, this card can indicate, you know, multitasking, you know, trying to add a sense of balance. It just seems like things have been busy for you. Now you're trying to, you know, bring a sense of balance, maybe into your schedule. You know, and this card can indicate feeling like you're going back and forth, different places. You know, it can indicate trying to make good choices as well. And this could be you trying to make good choices about, you know, your finances. You know, I just feel like you're, you know, multitasking this week. But I do feel like you're getting a lot done, though, at the same time. Alright, and with this High Priestess of Air card, I feel like it's important for you to, you know, network, you know, communication is important, you know, really get your ideas out there. And I feel like you have some really good ideas as well this week, okay? And so if you follow your intuition, if you get a good idea to do something, then do it. Alright. And for the air signs, you got the Death card and this Honesty card. Alright, I just feel like with this Honesty card, you know, you're being very real with yourself. You know, I just feel like some of you have put up with something for so long, like maybe you weren't happy in a certain job, but now you're like, you know, enough's enough. You know, you're facing reality, facing the truth. This might not be a job, but it just feels like you're facing the truth this week. With the Death card, you know, I just feel like change is in store for you, and I feel like it's so important for you to, you know, really embrace change. And if you feel guided to, you know, make certain changes, you know, it's important for you to, you know, do that. You know, don't be afraid to make certain changes that you feel like you need to make. You know, and just really go for it. You know, really go for your dreams. And yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of change this week for you, you know. And I feel like you are ready to embrace a new chapter as well. Alright. And for the Earth signs, you got the Temperance card and this Denial card. I just feel like it's important for you guys to be really patient. You know, it may seem like, you know, I just feel like it's not the right time for you with something. You know, I feel like a better opportunity may come to you later. You know, just something better. But I feel like you're really going for something. I think that's great. But I just feel like it's important for you to be patient. You know, it may seem like, oh, you're almost there, like, or, you know, this opportunity is a really good opportunity, but I just feel like, you know, something, you know, a little bit later, something better is going to come along. And I feel like timing, you know, this is the angel of time, you know, timing has something to do with this, okay? I just feel like the right things will fall into place at the right time, you know, you'll be at the right place at the right time. You know, something's just meant to be for you. So don't get discouraged if something doesn't work out this week, because this is meant to be. I just feel like the timing is off. Like, you know, a better time would be better, or, you know, just a different opportunity would actually be better for you. But, you know, keep going with the same path, you know. Just don't get discouraged if things aren't falling into place at this moment. And I feel like it's important for you to, you know, really be patient as well. Alright, we'll have a wonderful week, Earth signs. Alright, now for the water signs, you got the Hangman and this Chaos card. Alright, and for some of you, I'm just feeling like with the Hangman, it's been hard for you to move forward with something. You know, maybe, you know, some of you have felt stuck in a rut. And with this Chaos card, I do feel like it has felt like, you know, certain things have been out of your control, you know, out of your hands. Like you had no power over it, no say in it. But I feel like you are going to be gaining a whole new perspective this week with this Hangman card. I do feel like you're going to be seeing things in a new light. And I feel like you are going to be, you're going to be creative. I feel like you have some good ideas. Yeah, so I just feel like brainstorming is important this week because I feel like you have some really good ideas. You know, there are solutions. I feel like you are going to be getting some really good insight this week. You know, I just feel like you have some really good ideas, and I feel like you are going to be coming up with some creative solutions, and, you know, you are going to be gaining a fresh new perspective about something. Alright, we'll have a wonderful week, water signs, and have a wonderful week, everybody. Much love and many blessings to you all. Bye.